Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I am so excited today because I finally have the Pat Mcgrath Celestial Divinity quads. So these are the three quads that she came up with as part of her holiday collection. So today I'm going to be swatching them, comparing them, create some eye looks out of these. So I'm guessing this is going to be a pretty long video. So you might want to grab some coffee, hit that subscribe button and enjoy. So let's talk about the first one, and this is the purple one. I have been super intrigued and excited about this one, particularly because it's got lavender. And so this one's called Fleur Fantasia. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And the quad comes like this. It's pretty standard packaging, just like the quads that she came up with last year. So nothing's changed there. But the price is definitely a little bit cheaper than last year. So these retail for $58 and last year the quads were $65. So that's good. But I think the reason why they're cheaper is because the shades that these have are not the special formula that Pat Mcgrath has. So this is how the palette looks. So I think this is probably going to be like the glitter one, but these seem pretty standard, similar to what she has in the Divinyl Rose palette, the creamy, satiny matte shades. I think that's what these will look like. So let's watch these. So I've got the camera a little bit closer. So let's start with this first one, and it's called Utopia. I don't think it's a golden really, but it looks kind of like a gold. I think it's similar to this shade in the Subversive palette, something like this. Yeah, pretty similar. I feel like this is a little bit more coppery, but very similar. The next shade I want to take is this peachy shade, and it's called Lotus Paradise, and it's this beautiful peachy shade, and I think it reminds me of the Divinyl Rose too, so we're gonna swatch that next to it. Yeah, this Divinyl Rose one is a little bit darker and yeah, more rusty comparatively. And let's take this pinky shade as well and compare. Yeah, this one's more peachy, this one's more pink. The next shade I want to take is this purple shade, and it's called Lavender Blue, and it's this iridescent shade. That is pretty. It doesn't have any glitter in it. It's a very satiny shade. It's really nice. It's got a pink shift to it. I don't think there's anything comparable. The next shade I have is this pinky shade. It's called Iridescent Orchid, and I believe this is a duochrome shade because in the palette it shifts from pink to copper, but you can't tell much on the camera, but definitely has a shift. Maybe you can tell it's between pink and copper, and I think there might be some comparable shades, so let's see. I'm taking this the Decadence palette pink shade, and let's swatch this one. So this is more pink, this is more purpley. Also, I feel like this cosmic shade from the Celestial Divinity might be comparable. Let's see. Maybe there is some similarity. This one is more gold and this is more copper and pink. You can't probably tell on the camera, but there is definitely a different shift in both shades, but they pretty much look similar in terms of the pink that they have. Another shade I want to compare it with is this shifty shade from the Mothership palette, and this is the Subversive palette. So let's compare this. And this one is more like glittery, but I feel like this is very, very similar. Again, the Subversive one has a gold shift, so it's probably very similar to the Cosmic shade. And this is a little bit different because it has copper instead of gold, but pretty similar. Let's try these on the eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create two looks with these two shades on both my eye and use this as the transition on both eyes, so you can see how they work together. I think this is a gorgeous transition shade. It's such a lovely peachy shade, and I can just apply this all over the eye with a liner, and I think it'll look really pretty. Next, I'm taking my Smith & Cult brush and going into this lavender blue shade and just apply this all over the eye. Wow, this is so pretty. And I'm glad that it shows up on my skin tone. I was worried that maybe it won't work for my, a little bit darker skin tone, but I'm so happy that it definitely shows up. Blending this a little bit. I'm just going to use my finger as well and see how that looks, because I feel like there's a little bit patchiness here and there, just a little bit, so just to make it uniform. I love this shade. This is so gorgeous. On this, I'm going to take this pink shade, and this is called Iridescent Orchid. So I'm going to use my Makeup Forever brush, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to use my finger. So this is definitely a little bit tricky to work with. It's more gritty, and I think it'll work best with fingers. This brush might not be the best tool for this formula, but it looks really nice. It's definitely not like one of those Mothership glittery shades. This formula is a little bit different, I think. So it still has that glitteriness, but it doesn't have any fallout that used to be there in the other Mothership glitter formula. It sticks on to the eye a lot better. Just blending it all out. And I'll just take this Utopia shade and just apply this on the bottom eye, on my lower lid, and my inner corner. It's definitely nicely pigmented. Looks really pretty. All right, now let's finish this look and come back. Now let's talk about the next quad, and this is the Risque Rose quad, which is the pink one. And I hope this is the end of the Rose series. She has, I think, 3 palettes, well, 2 Mothership palettes, Divine Rose 1, Divine Rose 2, and then the Rose Decadence, and now this quad. So I'm like pretty much saturated with the whole Rose series. So this is how the quad looks, and again, it's got a pink, and I don't know, I have so many of these dark pinks now because they're everywhere. So I'm going to compare all of these. So let's start with this pink one. It feels really creamy to touch. Yeah, you can probably tell how creamy this is. It's not powdery at all. It's actually really, really beautiful. Just when you're done with something, Pat McGrath decides to come up and surprise you, because this formula is just brilliant. It's so creamy. I love it. So the comparable shade is this pink shade from the Divine Rose 2 palette, and this one has a sheen to it. Like this one is more satiny, even though like both of them are very creamy to the touch and pretty similar shade, but this is more shiny and this is more matte. And I'm just like so wowed with this matte formula. It is so smooth and creamy. I'm really, really liking it. I'm sure she would come up with more mattes with this formula, and it's going to be so exciting. Love this. And since we are swatching mattes, let's start with this brown one. So this is called Mink Noir, and this also feels so creamy to touch. Let's see. Ooh, that is pretty. This is so dark and beautiful. It's a little bit more powdery than this one. This one was just pure cream. And this is a little bit powdery, but I think better than the other mattes that she's come up with, at least to the swatch. Maybe it applies the same on the eye, I don't know. We'll see. That's Mink Noir. The next shade is this satiny pinkish shade, rosy pinky shade, and it's called Life on Mars. It's this beautiful shimmery shade. Ooh, that is nice. Again, it's not one of those glitter formulas. It's just like the satiny formula that she has on her Divine Rose palette. But I think this is pretty different. It's a nice rosy formula, actually rosy shade. I don't know if I have comparables. Let's see. So I think I'll compare it with this shade in the Divine Rose 2 palette, and I'll put the names down below. So this one's more taupey, purpley gray sort of thing, and this is more pinkish, rosy, coppery. I don't know, I'm so bad at describing shades sometimes, but they are definitely different. The next shade is this glittery shade, and it's called Lavendering. Let's see. This looks silver, but like a silvery purple shade. And I think it's pretty similar to the lipstick that she had, the lip gloss Lavendering. I think that was also pretty similar. This is really nice. Again, it doesn't have that glitteriness that the Mothership formula has. It's more like a super pigmented glittery, but not with the specks. And I'm guessing it's the same formula that she has in the other Lavender Rose, forget the name, Fleur Fantasia palette, where it's super glam and glittery, but not with those glittery specks, you know, where you have fallout on the face. That's not what this formula is. It's very different. So I'm actually in the mood to compare it with the Marc Jacobs Stiletto silver shade. I don't know, it's probably very different, but I'm just curious to see. It's this shade right here, and it's probably much more darker, but let's see. Yeah, this is more like a steel gray with blue specks, and this is more silver, and you can definitely see the lilac purpley shift on this silver. They're really, really beautiful. So let's try this on the eye. So I'm definitely first going to apply this dark shade on both my eye as a transition and create some depth with it, and see how this matte shade applies. So I think maybe it's because I have a lot of makeup wipe left over, but it's a little bit patchy. Yeah, it's definitely because of the makeup wipe, because wherever I have more of that wipe, that's where it gets stuck. Otherwise it's blending out pretty easily actually. Now I'm going to take this pinky shade, and it's called Life on Mars, with my Smith & Cult shading brush, and just apply this all over the eye. It's a beautiful shade, but I have to admit it's nothing extraordinary. I'm pretty sure you'll find this shade in multiple palettes. I think the Charlotte Tilbury Holiday palette might have something similar, and probably other palettes as well. If not the exact shade, something very similar. But nevertheless, it's a pretty shade. Next, I'm taking this pink shade and just applying this halfway through. And creating this pink hue. I'm just going to do the same on the lower eye. And on this, I'm going to keep it pretty simple and just apply this lavendering shade all over the eye. Ooh, this is so pretty. Whoa. Look at that. This is just amazing. So it definitely gives that glittery look that you get from the Mothership, the other glittery formula that she has in the Mothership palettes, but this does not have that kind of fallout. It sticks on pretty easily, and it's so beautiful. Oh my god. You probably can't tell how beautiful this is in camera, but it's So gorgeous in person. Oh my god. Just blending it all out with the dark brown shade. Doing the same on the lower eye. Alright, there is nothing comparable with this shade. This is such a unique shade. So beautiful. Alright, so I'm gonna just clean this look and apply my lashes and come back. Let's talk about the next one, and it's this blue one. It's called Interstellar Icon, and this is how the palette looks. It is so beautiful. So I want to swatch the gold one first. It's called Golden Polaris. It's a lovely standard gold shade, nothing extraordinary. Next I want to pick up this blue shade. It feels a little gritty to the touch, and this is beautiful. It's got this purple shift to it, and it's more blue and more purple, and I want to compare it with the Norvina Nocturnal Norvina blue. So this one I think would be more sea green. Yeah, right, and this is more blue. I also want to compare it with this blue shade in the Midnight 7 palette in the Mothership, and this is more purpley, and it definitely has no shift to it. This one is blue purple. You probably can't tell the purple more in this light, but it's definitely got a shift. Also want to take this blue. This probably would be close to the quad blue. This has also got a purple shift, and this is from the Subversive palette. Yeah, I think these are very similar. Almost the same, I would say. I think this one has a lot more purple going on, and this one's more blue. Well, yeah, very close. I think the formula is definitely different. If you see the special formula in the Midnight palettes or the Mothership palettes, they don't have a pan. They're just pressed into the palette as such. But these quads, the new quads that she's come up with, these are set into a palette. So that's how you know that this is not the same formula. And even if you look at the previous quads, so you can see that the shades are just set into this palette and they're not placed in a pan as such. So that's how you know this is the different formula. And this one is more, I don't know, different, probably cheaper, I don't know, but definitely not the same formula. And I think the shades are pretty similar between the Subversive blue and this Interstellar Icon blue. The next shade is this, I don't know what to call it. It's called Hypnotic. Let's see. Ooh, this is a nice olive green, but not exactly green. I don't know what to make of it. It's taupey, it's green, it's gray. It's beautiful actually. Lovely for a smoky eye. And the next one is this Divine Dahlia shade. And I'm so excited about this one because this is a nice bronzy shade, which is kind of purpley. It's beautiful. Let me swatch it one more time. Ooh. These two together are gonna be so amazing. Love this. Okay, so first I'm gonna take this Divine Dahlia shade. I just wanna see how it looks on its own. Oh wow, this is amazing. This is such a beautiful shade. I would just wear this on its own with a little bit of a golden in the middle just to brighten it up. This is so beautiful. It's just blending in so easily. Taking a cleaner brush and just mellowing this down a little bit. Now taking this shade, and this is actually called Divine Dahlia. This was called Blue Blood. So I'm just going into this shade and applying this all over the eye with my Makeup Forever brush. This is so pretty. I don't know what to call this shade. It's giving me olive green vibes, but it's not actually green. It's a bronzy green, maybe. Oh boy, this is so pretty. Just going into Blue Blood and just keeping it all intact. Then going into this golden Polaris shade and apply this towards the inner corner just to brighten this up. Oh, this is also a gorgeous golden shade. It's not actually golden. It's kind of champagne-y. Wow. Just applying this Divine Dahlia shade one more time. I do see a little bit of fallout in this one, or maybe I'm just going to town with these shades because they're so pretty. Maybe that's why there is fallout. Anyway, I'll just clean it up. Just taking this golden shade and also applying this near my brows. So this is turning out to be a lovely grungy eye look, which I actually really like. Might not be the best look for everybody, but I actually really like these grungy, bronzy looks. Just doing the same on the lower eye. So I'll take the Blue Blood shade and apply this on my lower lash. And actually, I'm going to apply it here as well, all over the lash. And then with a sponge brush, I'm just going to take this blue shade, the Hypnotic shade, and just apply this towards the center, just for that pop. Doing this on the lower eye as well, just towards the center. Alright, so I'm just going to keep this eye look on the other eye as well and come back. Alright, so now that we have tried all the quads, I wanted to share my final thoughts. So let's start with the purple one, the Fleur Fantasia palette. So actually this is a nice palette. I really like this unicorn shade in this palette. It's pretty great actually, and it looks nice on the eyelid and brightens up the eye. This pink one was also nice, but I feel like this one is not the unique glittery formula that Pat McGrath has. It's just a shimmery shade which you can probably find in the Celestial Divinity palette, as well as some of her other Pat McGrath Mothership palettes. So nothing too great about this one. And these two shades also, I feel like you can definitely find these shades in other palettes. If you have Pat McGrath palettes, you can definitely find this shade somewhere. And this peach shade is just an ordinary, transition shade. It's really pretty, but nothing unique. So in that sense, I feel like this one is probably the lowest of the lot. It's nice, but I wouldn't want to pay $58 for a 4-pan quad which has this shade selection. It doesn't have a deep shade. It's got these ordinary shades. So just for this and probably this shade, paying $58 is probably not the best idea. So that's why I feel like this one is my third favorite of the lot. Next, I want to talk about this Risque Rose palette. I feel like this palette really surprised me. I wasn't expecting to like this palette, but actually this is a very well-rounded palette. So especially this lavendering shade, it is so pretty. I actually really like the fact that this is a new formula that is the same impact that you have in the glittery shades that she has in the Mothership palette, but it doesn't have that much of fallout and it sticks to your eye. So it's really, really beautiful. And it's so unique. Like all the other Mothership palettes have something pretty similar, like a blue or a green. Like I'm done with those shades, and this is just silver and purple. It's just amazing. I really like this shade. And these three shades are, I was really surprised. These two go together so well, and with this I feel like this creates a very nice wearable look. And if you don't have the Divine Rose palette, I feel like these three shades give you that same impact, like the same look you can create with the Divine Rose palettes. So in that sense, I feel like this gives you a very daily wearable look, and you can just add punch to the eye with this lavendering shade. So I feel like this is a really nice palette. And this pink shade, I feel the formula on this pink is amazing, and I can't wait for her to come up with new mattes that are, you know, as creamy as this one. And last but not the least, I want to talk about the Interstellar Icon palette. I actually really like this palette, and I knew this one would be something I would like, and I'm not surprised. I especially like this brown shade, the blue blood shade. It is so beautiful. I love bronzy looks, and this is just the perfect, very interesting and very new kind of bronzy shade. It's brown and purpley, so it's really pretty. And this green is also so different. I thought it would be like a standard olive green shade, but it's really not. It's brown and green, like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's really beautiful. And this champagne shade just goes well with this. It just complements this whole scheme of shades. So I feel like this was a much needed shade in this palette, because all the other shades are so dark and grungy that you needed something to brighten it up. And the blue in this just adds that punch to the eye. So I feel like this is a lovely combination to have in this quad, so definitely really like it. Now I can't decide between the Risque Rose and the Interstellar Icon. I can't tell which one I like the most. I actually really like them both. It's just, I feel like I would probably wear this a little bit more because I like bronzy looks, and I won't wear this pink as much, even though this pink with this brown just looks so stunning. It just creates this beautiful transition in the eye, and you know, the crease also looks really pretty, and just when you're adding depth, it looks really nice. I actually really like the look that it created. So it wouldn't be fair to say, but maybe just a little bit, I would probably wear this one a little bit more. But yeah, they are both really pretty, and I think you will be very happy either way. Alright, so these were all the new Pat McGrath Celestial Divinity Luxe quads. Let me know in the comment section below which quad was your favorite, and which shade in particular did you enjoy in all of these quads. I would love to know. And if you did enjoy this video, do give it a thumbs up, and if you're enjoying this channel, do subscribe. And until the next time we meet, bye!